After Trump's plan to relocate the people of Gaza came out a few weeks ago, Egypt and Jordan both outright rejected the plan in very strong statements. While Jordan has backed down and is now willing to at least partially cooperate with Trump's plan, Egypt is doubling down. Not only have they been amassing a ton of troops on Israel's border, but they just came up with their own plan for the Gaza Strip that would essentially be a disaster for Israel. Let's get into it. I'm Justin Hilton, and this is the Israel Guys. Well, it turns out that Egypt really does not want to take in Gazan refugees. A few weeks ago, Trump presented a plan for Gaza that would see Egypt, Jordan, and a few other countries like Indonesia taking in the 2 million refugees in Gaza, somewhere around 2 million. We're not sure exactly how many people are actually there. And this plan makes sense. Gaza is almost completely destroyed, and the people of Gaza, they have nowhere to go. It would take years to rebuild Gaza, and where would these people go in the meantime? And even if they did come back to Gaza after rebuilding, how would we ensure that this time was different? Who's to tell that another terrorist organization wouldn't take over and ultimately lead up to a repeat of October 7th? Most of the people of Gaza are living in tents right now in not great conditions, so Trump's plan is actually probably the most humane for the people of Gaza. When Trump first introduced this plan, every country that he talked about taking in refugees, they refused outright. The King of Jordan made a very bold statement saying that they absolutely rejected the plan, but then he went to meet with President Trump at the White House and he very quickly changed his tune, and he even said this.
Mr. President, I truly believe that with all the challenges that we have in the Middle East, that I finally see somebody that can take us across the finish line to bring stability, peace, and prosperity to all of us in the region. And it is, I think, our collective responsibility in the Middle East to continue to work with you, to support you, to achieve those lofty goals. So I'm very delighted to be here. And as we said, sir, we've got some very interesting discussions ahead.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much.
Egypt, however, is not backing down on their rejection of the plan. They've been amassing a ton of troops on Israel's border, which is concerning to say the least, whether that's to block Gazan refugees from entering Egypt or to attack Israel. Not sure at this point. And by the way, have you ever looked at pictures of Egypt's border wall with Gaza? Even compared to Israel, it's so much crazier and bigger because they really do not want Gazan refugees. Well, Egypt just announced a sort of rebuttal, you could call it, to Trump's plan. According to the Times of Israel, Egypt is developing a plan to rebuild Gaza without forcing Palestinians out of the Strip, in a counter to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to depopulate the territory and for Washington to take it over. Egypt's state-run Al Aram newspaper said the proposal calls for establishing secure areas within Gaza where Palestinians can live initially, while Egyptian and international construction firms remove and rehabilitate the Strip's infrastructure. Apparently, Egyptian officials have been discussing the plan with European diplomats, as well as with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. What about Israel? You think you're just going to make a plan and leave Israel out of it? I honestly don't think that's going to work too well. An Egyptian official said that one of their ideas to fund the reconstruction is an international conference on Gaza reconstruction, I guess raise funds at the conference. They also want to establish a Palestinian administration that is not aligned, get this, with either Hamas or the Palestinian Authority to run the Strip and oversee the reconstruction efforts. Yeah, good luck with that, with making an administration that's not affiliated with Hamas or the Palestinian Authority. And also, this is crazy, they want to make a police force out of former Palestinian Authority policemen. Yeah, because they do such a good job in Judea and Samaria, and they've done such a great job of arresting terrorists. And I'm being entirely sarcastic here. Egypt's Al Aram newspaper said the proposal is designed to, quote, refute American President Trump's logic and counter any other visions or plans that aim to change the geographic and demographic structure of the Gaza Strip. Again, good luck with that. I can't see this plan going through. Let's pray it doesn't, honestly. Egypt can't really do anything here without the cooperation of the U.S., and most definitely not without the cooperation of Israel. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio did say on Thursday that, quote, If the Arab countries have a better plan, then that's great. But despite that, I don't think Trump will agree to this plan, especially since it's sort of a jab towards him, like directly countering his plan for the Strip. Ultimately, though, it's not up to Egypt, and it's not even up to the United States. Like Trump said in his ultimatum to Hamas, it's entirely up to Israel to decide here. We'll be right back with the rest of the show in just 1 second. But first, are you thinking about coming to Israel this year? If you've been on the typical tour to Israel before, you probably had an amazing experience, fell in love with Israel, and now you want to come back. But I'm guessing that you may be looking for something that goes beyond the tour bus experience, something that goes deeper. Here at Unveil, our mission is to bring Christian volunteers from around the world to serve the land and people of Israel. At the same time, we're committed to connecting you to the roots of your faith and Bible by experiencing the places where it all began. Our programs plant trees, harvest grapes and olives, and many other things that all typically get your hands dirty in the soil. At the same time, we take you to places that most tour buses don't go. You'll stand where Abraham stood, pick up pottery from ancient Shiloh, and travel the same road that Jesus walked. You'll meet the local pioneers and hear their miraculous stories of life in Israel's biblical heartland. Our annual grape harvest trip starts on August 20th, and this is a trip you definitely do not want to miss. To find out more and start your journey, just visit our website at serveisrael.com or click the link in the description below. We promise you this will be a life-changing trip. So Israel is currently talking about negotiating for the second phase of the ceasefire hostage deal. Khan News reported that Israel is preparing to receive the bodies of 4 or 5 hostages on Thursday who were murdered in captivity in the Gaza Strip, and this is still part of the first phase of the deal. Hamas is scheduled to hand over the names of the slain captives on Thursday morning. Israeli military ambulances will collect the bodies at a meeting point, and from there they will be brought to the Abu Kabir Forensic Institute in Tel Aviv for identification, and then they'll let the families know after they have been identified. Ynet News reported on Monday night that Israel is demanding the freedom of 6 living hostages during the 7th release scheduled for Saturday. According to the deal, Hamas is required to release 3. They've been releasing 3 at a time so far, and as part of the first phase of the deal, there are 6 alive still. So Israel's pushing to get those 6 released on this Saturday. A senior Israeli official conveyed on Tuesday that Israel would be willing to allow hundreds of caravans and heavy vehicles to enter the Gaza Strip to clear the rubble on the condition that Hamas returns the 6 living hostages on Saturday. According to the report, the ministers were updated at the Security Cabinet that there's a reasonable chance that the move will go through, but that the decision depends on Hamas. We'll see what happens. There's a lot going on in the Middle East right now. A lot of big decisions happening. We'll be keeping you updated here at the Israel Guys, so make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss anything that's happening here in Israel, here in the Middle East. In some other news, Israel just eliminated the head of Hamas's operations department in Lebanon. The IDF said, quote, Mohammed Shaheen was eliminated after recently planning terror attacks directed and funded by Iran from Lebanese territory against the citizens of the state of Israel. According to government sources, Shaheen was planning to attack Jewish targets outside of Israel. That's it for today, folks. Don't forget to check out our upcoming volunteer trips and go to serveisrael.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe. Get the conversation going down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts, to interact with you guys there. As always, stop listening to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what is happening in Israel. We'll be back soon here at the Israel Guys. Catch you in the next one.